Hello and welcome back to my channel. In case you're new here, my name is Matthew Vandeputte. I'm a time lapse photographer in London, Sydney. This channel is all about time lapse travel and tutorials, and today is another tutorial. On the weekend, I was invited by @Visit London to shoot London's 50th Pride Parade, the Pride Jubilee. Over 30,000 people walked in the parade, and about 1.5 million people attended this event that's all about love and inclusion. Truly a beautiful sight to see. Because it was Visit London that organized this shoot, we got access to the best view in town, a rooftop overlooking Oxford Circus and Regent Street where the whole parade would come through with incredible views. Because of this unique angle, I thought maybe I should do something that I haven't done in a while, so I was going to make a fake tilt shift time-lapse or a miniature time-lapse. They're working in the apartment next to me and I just cannot find a time without noise. So I hope you don't hear this hammering and drilling. If you do, I truly apologize, but there's nothing I can do about it. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to make footage that looked like a miniature because whenever a parade's happening, it's one of the things that I wanted to do for a while. And yeah, I don't have tilt shift lenses. We'll talk more about that later. So I decided to fake it. Here is what I made. After posting that on Instagram, a lot of you requested a tutorial or asked me more questions about it, so I figured might as well just make a quick video about how I did it, how to fake a tilt shift time-lapse. According to Wikipedia, the definition of tilt shift photography is the use of camera movements that change the orientation and or position of the lens with respect to the film or image sensor on cameras. What? Pretty much, you have a lens in front of your camera that can tilt or shift in front of the sensor. This means that some parts of your footage will be out of focus. It's mainly used in architectural photography to keep buildings looking straight when you shoot them shooting upwards. One of the things with wide-angle lenses, if you point the camera up and the lens up, all buildings go looking like this. If you're shooting for an architectural magazine or an architectural bureau, whatever, you want your building to look as it actually does in real life. So they use these very expensive tilt shift lenses to make sure that lines stay straight. Now, one of the side effects is that you can manipulate these lenses to have certain elements in your frame to look out of focus or to actually be out of focus. Now, what this does is when you shoot a certain scene a certain way, this tricks our brain into thinking that it's a miniature model because, and honestly, this is just how our brain interprets things. If you look at something really up close, everything else is out of focus. And it's the same idea that you show a scene in a certain way and you trick your brain into thinking that it's a small miniature scene. I don't have tilt shift lenses, they're expensive and I have no use for them, but you can kind of fake this really easily in post-production. So, this video I will teach you how to fake tilt shift time lapses. My side light's just gone out, so today's going great. There's construction noise next door, the lights aren't working, it's getting super hot in here. I'm still quite unwell, so yeah, happy days. Anyways, this video is for you guys. The whole tilt shift time-lapse photography thing has been done for years. A lot of people actually got sick of it. It's one of those things that when you get into time-lapse, you discover it at some point and you try and fake it, and it's been done to death. I've done it years and years ago, but I hadn't done it in a while. One of the best tilt shift time-lapse photographers by far, a huge inspiration for myself and many other shooters, is Keith Loutet, or Loutet, I don't know how you say it, based in Singapore, has an amazing body of work and just great award-winning films that you should go check out. The links down in the description. Just if you want to see the master of tilt shift photography or tilt shift time-lapse photography, go check out Keith's work. Now, anyways, back to the parade. Because I didn't know where I was or where we were going after that rooftop shoot, I brought a minimal kit with me, a small bag, small tripod, a Canon 6D Mark II, a 24-70 lens, and that's pretty much it. So I shot all the time lapses internally as a 4K movie mode, so the camera actually spits out a 4K rendered video file, a time-lapse video, as opposed to shooting photos with the remote and then I have to go home and compile everything. I wanted as little post-production time as possible because it was the weekend and I wanted to do other fun things. Anyways, shot everything as videos, used all that gear. Here's the setup that I used. As you can see, like the view is just absolutely amazing. I was so happy to be there. And I just made sure to shoot as many angles as possible. So wide angles looking up, wide angle looking down, a tailor down the street, a tailor looking straight down. Yeah, just get a diverse amount of shots when you're doing a shoot like this. Now here are the elements that you need to fake a tilt shift time lapse. So first up, having a high angle of shooting is good. So your point of view should be above the scene that you're shooting. This again increases that illusion that you're looking down on something very small. You need a fast shooting interval, ideally faster than 1 photo per second. I couldn't do that with my 62. If I used a remote, I could have done that, but then I had more work in post-production. Ideally, you shoot a couple of photos per second and then you play them back at a lower frame rate so it looks a bit like not glitchy but jittery and stuntily. It looks like toys moving around. And then of course you need movement in your scene. A parade is ideal. It's got people, it's got cars, it's got floats, it's got color, it's got movement, it's got all that fun stuff. You've shot all your footage, now it's time for post-production. The idea in post is quite simple. You're going to slow your footage down, you're going to add the fake blur by using a Gaussian blur and some masks to figure out where stuff needs to be in focus and where it's not in focus. And then you're going to add contrast and saturation. I imported my footage in Final Cut because currently I'm only working on my laptop and Final Cut just runs better when working with 4K footage than Premiere does, but the idea is exactly the same in Premiere. You put your footage onto a timeline and you slow it down to say 40 or 50%. Then you're going to add a filter, a Gaussian blur filter. A Gaussian blur is pretty much just a computer generated blur that looks like stuff's out of focus. It's not ideal, there are better blur filters for this, but this one is built into the app, so let's just go ahead and use that. When you're adding the blur, some scenes are very easy to add the blur. When you're just shooting down, you gotta figure out what distance is going to be in focus, and then if there's nothing else in the scene, you just add that strip of non-focus and then that's it. But if you have, for example, a wider shot with a lot of buildings on the side, you gotta figure out where is actually that bit going to be and which building on the side is going to be in focus or not. So you're going to add multiple masks to figure out which bit's going to be in or out of focus. I hope that makes sense. I'll show you what I did here to work along that Z-axis to make sure that it actually makes sense from an optical or physical point of view. I didn't have a lot of time. I kind of ran through it. I sped up my post-production because I wanted to launch the video as close as possible in time to the actual parade to stay relevant and get more views, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? But yeah, if you spend a lot of time on it, you can make it look quite realistic. But again, this is a pretty basic approach, so don't worry about it too much. Then once you're happy with the blurring on your scene, you add a color grade to it. So you add some contrast and a bit of saturation to it to make it pop more, you know, add a pop filter on there. It just increases that illusion that it's a toy scene. Once you're done with your visual edit, you're going to want to add some music. Now, I use music from Epidemic Sound. This isn't sponsored at all. It's just what I use. It's Epidemic. There's a link in the description down below. If you register for a free account, I make money. This is how I can make these free videos. Register for a free account, get a month's worth of free music and sound effects, cancel whenever you want and still use that music. You're allowed to. I still make the money. It's almost too good to be true. It's great. I love Epidemic, the team behind it. The music's great, the sound effects. I use them in pretty much all of my videos. Check that out if you want to say thank you, Matthew, for making this free tutorial about how to make time-lapse tilt shift videos. That's pretty much it. Also, if you would like to master time-lapse and astrophotography, check out my ebooks. The link is down below. The more of you guys that click these links, the more free content I can make for you. So it's much appreciated if you check out those things. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, drop them down below. Very much appreciated. A like, a subscribe, a notification bell, turn on, all that stuff. You know, it helps the channel. Thanks, all of you, for being here. Hope you find it useful. Have a great day or night, wherever you may be. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye. Here we are at the end again. How good. I'm in this little screen. You can click the subscribe thing there. You can check out my social channels. You can buy my ebooks on that little button there. And you can check out some other videos. Tutorials, travel videos, you know, whatever you want. Just watch one of my videos, not someone else's videos. Watch one of my videos.